let's talk about concerns about financial stability and loss of income while you would transition away from the healthcare insurance reimbursement model. Really, the strategy for that is to get a good game plan in place before you start, one that's going to ensure that you're not making drastic changes that are going to affect your current practice, or that if that's something, if you want a real quick transition, that you are prepared for that, right? Where I would come in, if this was me trying to help your practice, is that I would do a business audit, and we basically look at your current set of treatments that you offer to your patients. Of course, we do all this HIPAA compliant. I mean, that's a given, but we take a look at what are you billing your patients for currently, right? And we basically calculate our margins, our return on those services. Now, there's also going to be hidden costs. So a good example of one of the hidden costs is the paperwork burden, the administrative burden of dealing with the medical billing, the insurance reimbursement side of things, right? So you might have, one of the costs is a lot of times high turnover with your front of house staff or your administrative staff, because you've got people that are basically entry level or, a little above that, and they're now being asked to be medical billing experts, and it's just stressful for everyone involved if there's not a system in place to take care of that. So it just eats up a lot of time and money. So that's something you kind of want to at least think about and factor it in if you can, have the information to do so, right? So you look at all your services, and over time you'll be able to tell which services are costing you lots of time, but they're not getting a big return as far as value to your practice, right? Now, with this information, you can now make decisions and priorities. It's not to say you might have something that's low ROI, but it's important to the patients, and therefore it's important to you, and so you're not going to just stop doing that. But you could look at all these services, and out of the bottom 3 or bottom 5 in terms of return for your time, or for your investment of time and money, because sometimes you might have expenses associated with these. So out of the bottom 3 in terms of ROI, you can now maybe pick one and just stop offering that one. And what you'll see is that you're not going to lose money, because you now have more time to offer patients the services that are higher ROI. And even the ones at the bottom that are low ROI, you've made the decision that those are high value in terms of patient outcomes or patient satisfaction. So you're really removing the bottom stuff that's just taken up a lot of time and not serving you. And it frees up time for things of higher value, higher return for you and your patients. So that's something small you can do to get a little bit of a quick win, get some breathing room. Because a lot of providers, they think they need more patients, but they're just running on a hamster wheel of more patients. They work more hours, and it doesn't feel like they're making the kind of progress you would hope for, right? So by taking a look at all these services and analyzing like that, you can see where you might be able to simplify your operations so that you can provide, just free up time, money, energy, resources to be used for higher value activities. So that's part 1 of addressing the financial stability issue. Part 2 is that you don't have to go all out. You don't have to go from never walking, sitting on the couch to running a marathon. We're gonna build up in a way that's low cost or low risk, really. The cost is going to be used carefully, right? So a lot of times if you're trying to transition to a cash-based model where patients pay you basically cash up front for your services, and you don't have to worry about any of the insurance BS for those services, you don't need to go open a new clinic necessarily. A lot of this you can do with just a extra office room or an extra yeah, really just extra office space. I mean, some of these, depending on what you do, some of these services can and should be done remotely. In which case, yeah, you just need a computer, a little bit of a office space. Even if you're doing in-person consultations, things of that nature, you just need an extra room. That's really all you need. So you don't have to go full bore right out the gate. You can kind of dip your feet in the water and see what works and what doesn't. And then once you get something that is working, then you're going to start scaling it up and, putting your foot on the pedal and scaling it up. So I hope that makes sense. We'll go over more in some upcoming videos. I just didn't want to make it too long. So I wish you all a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.